to Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the sequel, our movie review. I'll just come out right out and say it. This movie, stupid.
Yes.
It is so stupid, but I love it. I know. I know you looked at me like I'm
Really?
crazy.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I actually, I thought it was fun, and that's what matters to me. It is dumb as hell. I will totally admit there are stupid parts, and it kind of loses focus here and there on what story it's supposed to be telling, right? Especially in the second act with a wedding bit. That makes god dang sense. But I think it makes up for it in the third act. And I think what works ultimately overcomes what doesn't. And I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm so happy to see Sonic kind of being done justice on the big screen, and these cast of characters joining. It's got a really cool ending, and you know you could tell Jim Carrey's having fun, and so I know I know y'all.
You're entitled to your opinion. It's
I
fine.
can see y'all eye rolling. It's a dumb film where I had fun. I was in a really good mood. Okay, so I think it's one of those films you got to be in a really good mood with.
I can see that because I guess I just wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. Well, we went. It was a family night thing, so I brought my family. There were kids in the theater. You brought Alex. They were having a good time. I was having a good time. However, I will say that there are some things that don't work. But do I think you should see the movie? Yes, because I want it to do well, because I want to see Sonic 3. I do think that this is doing justice to the video game. You just feel like they care. They're getting some of the lore right. That ending credit sequence where they go kind of through the whole film, just video game form, it's just a good popcorn, turn your brain off entertainment is what I think here, and they do enough justice to the character to where you don't feel like they're just milking a franchise or something like that, right? What did you guys think?
I guess I was not in the mood. Honestly, this one wasn't as good as the first one.
What?
The story, I get it. I get it.
Joe, this one's
the first one, you could. It's dumb fun.
Okay, I can
yes.
see. I can see.
The other one's dumb fun, but this is just they crank. To me, it feels like they cranked down the writing. There's a lot of stupid jokes.
Yes.
A lot of stupid ass people. It's like, look, I get it's a kids movie, but you don't have to simplify this to the lowest common denominator. Like, what the fuck? It's like dance sequences. I was like, come on, you lost me the dance sequence.
What? Come on, there was that ridiculous moment in the bar in the first film. Joe, this is you're right. For kids, there's going to be a dance
I understand that, but at the same time, these
but
characters
you're focusing
are just
too much
so
on
bad.
that in the first act. What about that third act? You didn't like the third act?
I did not like the sheriff. He was
yes,
dumb.
there are some characters.
The sister with the whole wedding thing, and just
taking away from
Sonic,
Sonic,
the whole thing that I wanted to watch, Sonic and Tails and having adventures, something like that.
Yeah.
But
I think Knuckles works. I think Idris Elba did a good job as Knuckles. I like his personality here. I like the final message of the film.
Out.
Yeah, and the jokes with Knuckles works. The jokes with pretty much everything else didn't work, and it didn't even work with the audience. And when it's not working with the audience, because we didn't hear a lot of laughter.
No,
everybody was kind of quiet during moments where they do a one-liner, and everybody's like.
Yeah, this was just saying, these jokes.
The jokes aren't working, but I did have a smile on my face the whole time. Looked over, Melissa smiling, her family smiling. So I think it was entertaining enough. That sucks.
Was just me.
Okay. No, I get you. Because, honestly, there are some rough bits. I was like, are you I even turned to Alex one time. I'm like, oh, my God. I forgot what moment.
It was during the wedding.
Okay.
There was a part during the wedding.
There's a part. Well, we'll talk about it in the spoilers. What did you think,
yeah.
Alex? Did you not want to go fast?
So, I was super surprised that I actually liked the first one. And the first one, I think, had the appropriate... There was some cringy stuff in the first one, but I think most of the jokes landed. And I think that the humor was really working. And, yeah, there's some, cringy kid stuff. Yep. And this one seemed to be the opposite. I think there was more cringy than there was funny, though there is certainly some funny parts in this movie.
Yeah.
I think that if the third act hadn't been as strong as it was, because I do feel the third act is very strong, I think I would have hated this movie.
Yeah.
Like the word
Yeah,
hate.
I get you. Because I was like, oh no, we're spinning our tires here, but it picks up.
Yeah,
me.
it definitely picked up.
And I lost myself in the third act because I wanted to see. I had a checklist of things that I wanted to see, and eventually when they got past all the bullshit that didn't fucking matter
Or work.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of issues that I had with the majority of the movie. I think that Knuckles is pretty strong. I think the characterizations of Tails totally appropriate from what I remember from the games and from the cartoon. And then Sonic the same way, and Knuckles. I did have a little bit of an issue. I think that Idris Elba's accent trying to kind of went in and out, and it felt a little awkward to me. It's not the worst. But I was every time he was talking, it's like, oh, this something's not working. Like, why does this not sound good into my ear?
I kind of felt like that with Tails from time to time.
Really? Yes. I didn't notice anything. So it's probably like whatever what you're looking for. Idris Elba was not what I was looking for Knuckles, apparently, and so that part didn't work. I think Jim Carrey was Jim Carrey. I think he was bombastic and crazy, and some of the shit that he said was so cringy that I wanted to not be there. Awful. And some of it was okay, and it was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah, so it's like this is a movie where the first half of the movie, if not first 2/3 of the movie, is probably not very good, but I think that it does kind of pull back to it at the very least for me. Average-ish film because I was at the hate it portion halfway into this movie.
I was looking at the faces on your and I was me too. Granted, but I think it does pull it together in an excellent third act and the first act too because I like where the film picks up where it left off, on the Mushroom Planet where Dr. Robotnik, Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik is trapped and he does, some things to get out of it. And I think that works. And then sort of the family going on vacation. I'm like, yes, just get them out of the picture, right? So we could focus on the actual characters that we care about. So I was like,
had me on board.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But then
they come back.
Then they come back. That's why we have some problems. We have some problems in the second act. We do this a whole side plot with James Morrison, the
Wachowski.
The Wachowskis, his girlfriend's sister,
his wife's sister, the most unimportant, the most unimportant character from the first movie is still the most unimportant character from this movie,
now,
and the entire second act is about her.
Is about that.
Yes.
I'm like, what is this? Is this Bridezilla the Hedgehog? No, this. And granted, I actually was in such a good mood that I was like, you know what? This kind of would be funny in a rom-com, in a different film, just not in my Sonic. So I didn't hate it, but I hated it for the fact that it was here interrupting my Knuckles, my Tails, my Sonic.
You think it was budget constraints?
No, what I think it is, and I was thinking this right before we got to the temple, I was like, this movie is trying to be something for everyone, and it's ending up being nothing for no one. And I was getting really sad, but then things started to pick up, and the message, they got traction on those tires, and things were running at full speed. I enjoyed it. I got the message, and I think, about family, about friendship, about being what it means to be a hero, and teaching, and the kids in the audience, I think, were enjoying it, and so it has a good message by the end. Yes, it's stupid as hell, but so was the first one. This film is stupider than the first one. At its cringy moments, there was even a fucking rap. You know how embarrassing it was in the 90s and early 2000s when teachers were trying to be cool or something.
Or in Space Jam with Porky rapping.
They would exactly. They were trying to do rap. That happens here. It's mercifully short, but it's like, what are these Here's the thing. These writers were not funny. They think they're funnier than they actually are. And it's difficult because you want it to be more funny because I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
And I want to laugh, but I'm not laughing.
Well, what was crazy is, and you mentioned this before.
I'm just enjoying.
I want to reiterate that our movie theater was filled with kids having a great time at certain parts of the movie.
Yeah.
For at least an hour of this movie, the movie theater was completely silent, and they were trying. And even the kids are looking around like, what the fuck is this, Mom?
No, that's not true. But it was
Jim Carrey
silent.
flossed and rapped, and it was terrible.
That part was terrible. That's when I looked. I was like, "What the fuck?" Yes, that was bad. But that's cringy. That's trying to be something for everybody, and it not working. But when it focuses on Sonic, his friends, the team, that tribe of going against Robotnik, and it being basically a live-action cartoon, that's when this film is working
Yeah,
at its
again,
best.
but that's like at the very end.
Well, a little bit at the beginning and then a little at the end. Yeah. And I'll tolerate the family to get across that family message, but I think it ties into stuff that doesn't work. So let's go ahead and do final verdicts so that we can actually start getting into the nitty-gritty in a spoiler section. So what would you do?
For me, this is just going to be an average film. I'm going to give this a 5. There's nothing really that
Damn,
stood
Joe, do you
out
remember
that
what you
makes me-
gave I
don't know, like a 7 or an
I think
8.
you did a 7 or an 8.
Yeah.
I gave it an 8.
The
I
jokes,
remember that.
yeah, for me, the jokes weren't really working. The middle was like kind of all over the place. It lost me. I was like, this is not what I want to see. I was just like more cringe than anything. And the third act finally kind of evened it everything out.
Yep.
But it was a 5. Just nothing. Average.
Okay.
Yeah. I think 5's appropriate for me. I think that half of this movie is not important. I seriously, the entire second act, nothing important happens at all. We don't resolve anything. We don't learn anything. It's just Sonic goes away, and then he comes back, and
It's
that's
a
what.
minor inconvenience.
And so, like the movie is actually kind of working in the beginning, and then
Anytime it's Robotnik, right?
yeah, and then we get to this middle portion that's just I'm trying to think of anything that we learned or that we did. Nothing. No characters like had any growth. Nothing happened with Sonic. There was no plot. It's just there's this dead spot in the movie that really hurts the momentum of the movie, because had we stretched out the beginning and really fleshed out the end, this movie could have been significantly better than the first one, in my opinion. And I actually liked the first one. I give the first one a 7. But this one I got to give a 5. And I almost feel that it's like a little generous, because I did really start to hate this movie in the middle of this movie.
There were moments where I hated it too.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, I was in a very good mood, and I am being kind to the film. But I think the highs of this film are higher than the original, and I also think the lows of this film are much lower than the original. But what ties it together for me is the fact that we're getting Sonic and the crew. We're getting his friends from the different universes, from the different different animals, and we're getting the big high stakes battle of Dr. Robotnik versus Sonic and friends. So that's what works. What works is Jim Carrey having fun. I think Knuckles works. I think the rapport between the characters of the title of the film. I think the stakes are higher, and they're getting some of the lore right and the message of the film. And it has a really good ending. And, by the way, an awesome cliffhanger. You should definitely stick for the cliffhanger. And what doesn't work is, unfortunately, a lot of the jokes didn't land. In fact, they pushed you into getting a little pissed off. If you're our age, right? I think a lot of the music didn't really... These contemporary songs, a lot of it didn't fit. That's just me, though, in my personal taste. I felt they were trying too hard for nostalgia's sake. For people that grew up with Sonic, they're playing like all those types of songs.
Oh, okay.
And then the dad and mom thing, right? To the rescue. Dad and mom to the rescue. I'm like, please, you are putting yourself in danger. You're not here doing anything. Let Sonic and his buddies do what they do, right? And the wedding side plot. It may be funny, but not for this film.
It was not funny.
No, well, I did kind of like a little bit of the Bridezilla stuff just because it was ridiculous. So, anyways, so my final verdict is I actually liked it more than the first film, and surprisingly. I can't rate it higher than the first film. So it's also going to be an 8 out of 10. But it's like, which one would you rather watch again? I kind of would rather watch this one and maybe fast forward through some of the really bad jokes. Because the first one, I felt like the stakes were a little low and it's a little flat. Maybe I'm forgetting a lot of that plot, but... You know, I think ultimately the stakes were risen here, and it's worth seeing if you're a Sonic fan and if you just want to have a good time at the theater. But know that you're not going to laugh out loud, and you're going to be doing a lot of eye rolling at some cringe for ultimately a good message. All right, so that's the review. I'm glad we got through that without too much arguing. So let's go into the spoiler section where we will now bash on the film for an extended period of time. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section. So this film, like I said, is really fucking stupid. We already talked about Jim Carrey flossing while rapping. What the fuck was that? Did they think it was funny on set?
His hood. I don't know.
I don't know what was happening. Like, this is the point. That's the point of the movie. I think that is the point where the movie completely and totally lost me. And I didn't until they made it to the temple. And the temple is when this movie gets strong. Like, seriously,
that's what I'm saying. Like, that third act is like a fucking 9.
Yeah,
it's fucking good.
But there's so much shit leading up to it that starts with that floss, and nothing happens. So we've set up at the beginning of the movie, Knuckles shows up, and he knows Sonic is the key to finding the great green emerald. Mm-hmm. And so
Master Emerald.
He's like, there's a pairing between Knuckles and Robotnik. They're like, look, I know where Sonic is. You want Sonic? We'll do this thing. We'll do this team up. They clearly show that Robotnik's going to
betray him,
and Knuckles just doesn't get it.
No honor, no friends.
Yeah.
And Knuckles kind of, it's kind of a sad moment. It's sappy, but he calls Dr. Robotnik his friend, or he was thinking in his friend. Yeah. He's not. He's not his friend. He's like, he fucking treats everybody like trash. And
this works. Like, all of this stuff works. It's believable. I mean, it's a little silly, but like, this is the childhood stuff. Yeah. It's like, these are the characters. I totally believe this is where it's working. And then we go to Hawaii. And the movie gets bad.
Yeah.
And
why do we need to cut to Hawaii? It would have been better if, like, okay, the parents are on vacation. Let the kids play.
Yeah.
Right? No. We got to cut to the fucking Hawaii, which is a wedding for his...
Four Seasons for his...
It was an advertisement for the Four Seasons. Because they mentioned it by name over and over and over again.
I did see Olive Garden, or hear Olive Garden, and obviously a lot of Chevrolet. That's the advertisements for all the trucks. My victory chariot, he says at the end. But I didn't really notice the Four Seasons. Okay. But yeah, so they're having a wedding, and this is so contrived, so fucking... eye-rolling. It turns out that while Sonic is on his adventure, he needs help because Dr. Robotnik is chasing Sonic with a bunch of robots, and Knuckles is beating him up, and they cause an avalanche. And I'm like, well, Sonic can just fuck. Okay, this film has, I forgot to mention this in the normal review. There are so many situations in this film where Sonic could easily get out of it by just running fast, right? And so you have to ignore the fact that he's trying to snowboard out of this, but it's slower than his normal speed. Anyway, he's screaming for help, which he gave a ring to his dad, Tom or whatever. But it's now his dad and mom, and I don't know how I feel. I like that for the family message, but it doesn't feel like earned. Mm-hmm. And they try to earn it by the end, and it only half works, in my opinion. Anyways, so the storylines clash between his sister's wife getting married and the ring, because he mixes up the ring with the ring being put on her finger, so he's got to rip the ring out of there in the middle of a wedding ceremony.
I don't know how you would do that, but whatever.
I don't know. It's so stupid.
This could have been a really funny throwaway gag.
I thought it was funny. I just didn't think it needed to be here. It was so long.
If it was a minute long, and it's this whole thing where they spring this trap on the wedding, trying to trap him, and then it's seriously just a minute. Yeah. But this is a long sequence. Yeah. Like a really long sequence.
Everybody at the wedding is secretly an agent.
Why were they there? Trying to capture Sonic. Why weren't they at his house staking something out?
Please don't try to
Everybody went to Hawaii. It's like, but the off chance
that
that Tom
maybe-
used the ring,
right,
the last ring.
Yeah.
Why was
so I guess
everyone
all
there?
of their friends, both back at their place and Hawaii and wherever they go, are all agents.
Well, Sonic also has a cell phone, and he's constantly texting his dad, and they don't. Like, this government agency knows where Sonic is at all times, because this is exactly how.
thinking too much
like
about
how
it.
It's so stupid.
it's terrible.
And so everybody points guns, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? It turns out that her hunky husband, who, by the way, there's a whole nother scene with like a fucking muscle beach ball. Like, what are we
Like
doing?
Top Gun.
A Top
There's
Gun.
Top Gun.
We're doing
Remember?
Top Gun.
Remember? You remember?
What is happening?
It's like, this isn't funny. Why is this happening?
We need
Yeah, take that,
backstory for
nerd.
this guy. I
Like,
don't
well,
know.
they're not good at math,
Well,
huh?
it turns out they're all agents. That's why they're so buff, Joe. Whatever. Anyway, so then they capture Sonic and Tails because they do rescue him. The wedding gets the avalanche thrown
By
on all the
chance,
people. By chance,
Sonic showed
Yes,
up.
Makes no sense.
Because he
Anyways,
lost his rings.
It was
He was
stupid.
like, oh, it
I
was
swear
all
there's a
ruse.
5-year-old in that
The-
theater going, "This is dumb."
Yes, the way they try to inject gun
Yes.
into the film, GUN, the human-led or agency that knows all about these different creatures or just an alien defense force or whatever. That is really shoved into the film, and I don't think that works.
No.
And it kind of takes away from it. But it's so funny, it's so ridiculous, and I do like the Bridezilla thing that it.
She gets all mad.
Kinda
and
works.
she's like, I'm going to go kill him.
But they were really in love.
Oh, so
you
they,
can't
they're
ca-
not. So he was all fake. He didn't really love her. But then at the end, he realizes, well, maybe
Bro, what a woman.
what a woman.
We are
because
really in love.
she nearly runs him over. She uses Tails' gadgets, which that was funny. Like, she's the gadget. It's a tiny little gun. Come on, they were a little fun.
No.
I do like the Bridezilla and his wife are like sneaking around and
Killing agents
killing
with
agents, right? Because she throws one of Tails' things, and an agent flies up into the air like
that dude's dead.
100 feet into the air, and
He
she
goes
he'll be
over the
fine."
hotel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and luckily he slams into it today. You laughing? I heard
No,
some laughing.
it's fucking dumb.
That's fucking laughing.
that he's getting.
Okay, but here's the thing. It's so fucking dumb that they just step on the gas and go with dumb. So that, to me, is a little... and over the top, I respect that, and I like it, but it just didn't work. Like, the jokes, the writers... If they were funnier, it would have worked. I would have given, this thing, if everything come together, it was like a 10 out of 10.
If
But-
these jokes had existed within, like, and the backdrop not be in Hawaii, but be somewhere else, like, where it actually makes sense within the... Remember, like, Hawaii doesn't have any impact on the movie. And so if we just eliminate that, and these same jokes are in Seattle, where the movie actually takes place, this movie would be what you want it to be.
Joe, come on, she's funny. And then when she gets a drink from while she's drinking. No. All right, no, you're right. So that part was terrible and very cringy, and they have this side plot. And so eventually the movie gets back on track when they get to the temple. And the Robotnik lets Knuckles believe that they're a team because he wants of course, the ultimate power for himself.
Yeah.
Because from the previous film, he is funded by the government. And so when they figure out he's back, they're going to arrest him and all this other stuff. They're not going to continue to fund him while he's trying to take over the world. So he needs another means. So he's going after the gem. And then we get the payoff, essentially. Where, by the way, did you notice the big old maze and Robotnik pulls one of his little robots out and he's like, do it smarter or something like that. I was like, well, if you were really doing it smart, you would have climbed up.
That's what I
and
was
then you
thinking.
would've walked. And Sonic doesn't even do that either. I'm like, okay, guys, it's right there.
Like, just
do it. And anyways, so then we get a payoff. We get the fight between Knuckles and Sonic, and I thought it was a good fight. It's CGI,
What about
but
Wade?
both
Don't
characters
forget-
look CGI,
don't forget
and they
about
look great.
Wade.
Who did I forget?
Wade,
Who's Wade?
the deputy.
Oh, that was another part. I hate that guy. That does not work.
Yes.
I also hate the barista dude.
Yes, that's another one
That
too.
doesn't work, and that actually
That
undercuts
was
the
in the
message
first-
of the film. If Robotnik has no friends and he doesn't like anybody, then he wouldn't keep this guy around, but yet he does keep him around so he can be a sycophant. But still, I don't like him. He's wasting time.
I was super hoping that it was going to be a betrayal, that the only way they can kill Robotnik is the guy realizes
Right.
Robotnik
That's
doesn't care
what
about him,
that
and then
would've
he
been
like
cool.
does something, and then the message works.
But it
Otherwise,
doesn't work.
it doesn't work, and like everything that you built up as far as like this whole thing just collapses, like your whole Hawaii segment.
Yeah.
Do better.
Do better. So then he actually captures while they're fighting. He gets the emerald for himself, merges with his body, and then we get fucking Ultra Jim Carrey, Emerald Jim Carrey. I thought it was fucking awesome. I liked it because the military comes out. There needs to be some. So that's why they put gun in there, so that they could put some guns in front of him and show how powerful he is. He rips things apart with some actual good CGI effects and creates this tornado of metal and parts. And it turns out he builds a big fucking robot, and it's like, yes. And the robot even looks cool, you know.
And he sings and auto-tunes his voice.
And
it's
okay. Every once in a while, getting something right, they get something
And
wrong.
it's just like,
and you're
why?
Stop that!
Fucking stop it.
Stop it! Right? But then they get something right as the fucking plane from the games, and then the little mustache from the robot breaks the plane. I liked it. Right?
It was
You know?
perfect.
That was good.
Those
Good
parts
shit.
are great.
Right.
But then there's the
other
deputies
parts.
there, and he.
Okay. And
Officer Doofus.
but
Yeah.
ultimately,
Don't eat that. That's a fake bagel.
So then we get.
I'm gonna eat it. Oh, it's a fake bagel. Anyone?
Who's laughing?
Anyone?
He's funnier than that guy.
You're right. I cannot
so
justify those
dumb.
parts. Those parts do not exist in my head.
Okay,
Right?
but
I would
it's in there.
fast forward the film
Forever.
for those past parts. Anyways, so then we get this big climax, and we get. As soon as I saw the chaos, gems in there and all that, I'm like, yes. I think we're going where they're going. And remember, I predicted, when are we going to see this? And we do.
Super Saiyan.
Super fast! Supersonic! So we get Supersonic. So we finally see
Saiyan Sonic.
Supersonic, and he is Super Saiyan. And he kicks ass. And you know what? This battle works. It's a really fucking cool battle. He's like fucking, slamming into the robot, fucking razoring its head off, and, fucking
That part was
Robotnik
cool.
falls.
Yeah.
What if we had 20 more minutes of that? Instead
Right.
of
It was
Hawaii?
exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't give it any higher than an 8. Anyways, and then we get
on task.
we get a good cliffhanger. Holy shit! We get a good cliffhanger where they introduce Sonic. No, Shadow. They introduce Shadow, and I thought they would. Like, this is going exactly how I thought it would. It's very predictable in that sense, but it's not predictable in a bad way, in my opinion. I was having fun with it towards the end.
Well, I knew what was going on, but I was like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's acceptable.
So the things that I think were working was, people having fun. May not be funny, and it's super cringy, but the things that worked were the important things. The side stuff, like the barista, the cop. Why was he in here? I was asking, I was like, was this guy in the first film? Because I don't fucking remember.
He's that
him.
forgettable, I guess.
He is that forgettable. Was he in the first film?
Yeah.
He was? I didn't freaking remember it. So you're just wasting time there. Maybe it was a big party and they felt like they needed to include it, but it was dragging the film down.
He's like, maybe I could bring chicks to my place besides my mom.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
There were even several moments where Robotnik is like, da-da-da-da, and I'm like, oh, that line didn't really work. Do you remember any of them? They're very forgetful. I can't even remember. But there are moments where it was supposed to hit and it didn't hit. Don't do that.
3.0.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, that definitely
Definitely
happened.
happened.
Then he starts, what song was it?
Which one? Walk?
Whenever he's in the robot.
Oh, Walk. By
Yeah.
Pantera.
Pantera
They play
starts-
Pantera for 6 seconds.
You know what? I was into it. I was like, all right, yeah, let's fucking.
I
do
like
it.
this song a lot,
But
and then it stopped, and it was like,
then
oh,
they-
shit.
They, you could tell they were just using it. It's like, well, we could never play heavy metal for longer than 6 seconds, or parents will start.
We did an
complaining.
entire Bruno Mars
'Cause
thing
I
that was
was
the
like,
worst thing in the film.
Are we about to set the entire battle to fucking metal? Like, yes, let's fucking do it. But no.
We can only do
Anyway.
all of Bruno Mars.
Instead, we do Bruno Mars, and we do the Bridezilla, and we do the
Follow
wedding
my
side
moves.
plot, and we do the
I don't know your
doofy cop
moves, but we're gonna-
side plot, and then we do the stupid barista side plot. But other than that, and the fact that Jim Carrey's one-liners weren't as funny as I was hoping, I think it was a fun thing. So, yeah,
I think it was a little too much off the cuff on those.
Yeah.
Do you think they were just giving
These
him
are
free
like-
reign and he?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
this.
Like
so there's-
sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes it works and it's cohesive and it makes sense when you let a really funny person just say funny stuff. And there were times here where it just did not work.
Yeah. So I don't know
Yeah,
what
because
happened
in the
there.
first one he did an ad lib one, and it worked. It probably, hey, try that, mimic, do the same thing again. Did not work this time.
Yeah.
It was way
Test,
too
test.
cringy, and I was just like, all right, this is weird. Can we fast forward now?
Yeah. There is a lot of cringe, and I hope it's not Jim Carrey's last film. He kind of said, well, I'm planning to retire. If there's a really good script that comes my way that just speaks to my heart, then maybe.
I don't think it's
It's
going to
not
be
gonna be
Sonic
Sonic
3.
Don't think it's going to be Sonic 3.
I don't think it's going to be Sonic
But
3.
I know it's not going to be Sonic 3, but I don't want this to be the end of Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik because he owns that fucking role.
Yeah,
he
I
is
like him.
Dr. Robotnik. I think he does a perfect Dr. Robotnik. But I do think it's time we focus on something else. What I would like in the third film, so we don't have to deal with this kind of shit, is to go to those other worlds. Like, let's stop doing the whole mom, dad, family, Earth thing. It's time to take it to the
It
next
was
level.
always
that's
getting to the
buku
point
bucks,
with
though.
the
Green, I know, right? Yeah.
It was always getting to the point where Fast and Furious type of thing. They kept talking about
Right.
family a lot.
Family.
It's like family.
They
we
also
family.
they made actually one of the funniest things in the movie was a
Family.
Vin Diesel joke.
Yeah,
That's true.
But if Dr. Robotnik's not there to be the villain, it's going to be Shadow, and Shadow's going to be the one that takes over in that slot if Jim Carrey does not want to come back. Maybe they can convince him, change his mind for a fourth or fifth if they start adding all those characters, because there is a lot of fucking Sonic here. I don't pretend to know Sonic lore. I'm not a Sonic aficionado.
played that
in all
Sonic
the lore,
Rider.
but we just played that racer, and we're like, holy
There's plenty
fuck,
of
there's a
them.
lot of characters here. So there's plenty that they can play
Yeah, because
with.
I only know those four.
Yeah. Okay. Mans is over here looking at me like I'm a crazy man. I guess I kind of do look like a crazy man. All right. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. I had a lot of fun, but I
You
was
just gotta be in the right mood for it,
particularly
apparently.
in the right mood. All right, guys. Tell us what you think of the sequel. And
Is it
we
better
don't-
or
it's-
worse?
It's fucking dumb. I know that. Yes, it's dumb. But did you like it better or worse than the other one? And did you think the characters were done justice? All right, guys. We will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.